Welcome to Office Hours. I'm Steve Drost, Will Kaplan with me as always. Both of us are, of course, from the Quivr team, which Quivr is the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors, where our objective is simple. How can we help you run your business at peak efficiency? Now, each episode of Office Hours, we take a couple of cool items that came directly from our users who are simply trying to make their life a little bit easier. Will, I was in a breakout room. Now that we got breakout rooms mastered, I was in a breakout room and I came back and I think I can say this and I'll even use his first name, David. I don't think he'll be surprised by this. One of our favorite users, David, you and him were in the middle of a conversation. I caught the end of it and I got to learn more. What was going on?
So David has this sort of it's a situation I think we all have run across probably at some point as we deal with clients where you're still in kind of like how clients normally work, but it's a little bit different than the standard. And so what was going on here is David has a client where the parent and now the child are technically both clients, but it's a little bit different than just two households because the kids are coming in as trustees on an irrevocable trust. And so where this is a little bit different is instead of just having the trust under the parent, now David and I spent some time talking through it during office hours. And I think in additional, another user actually jumped in and sort of gave some insight as well, which was fantastic. That's one of the benefits of office hours, obviously.
Love it when that happens, when there's a question asked and I pause for a second and then another user will pipe up and say, I had this exact same issue. I thought about this 3 weeks ago. This is how I handled it. And it's like, you know what? That is better than any answer I could have given.
That groupthink is so powerful. I'm always surprised because I guess I shouldn't say I'm surprised. It makes sense, but our users are usually pretty generous with how they're doing things. And there's a lot of people that come to office hours just to kind of learn like, what's everybody else doing? Like, can I peek over the fence and see this cool thing? And I think this was a good example of that. So David could have put this trust under the parent, but he realized sort of in the conversation that he'd probably want to communicate with the kids. Like it was a son and daughter who were the trustees of this irrevocable trust. And so he's going to have to do sort of some communication with them. And so there might be cases where like automation or how long has it been since I've talked to them or like other things like that, where he needs to engage with that second generation as well. And so making that a separate household made sense in this case. And so then what we're looking at is awesome. We've got the separate household. We've got these two, contacts in there, the son and the daughter of the original parent, but they've got Schwab accounts. And so where do we put the Schwab account? It's an irrevocable trust account. Does it belong to the dad? Does it belong to the mom? Does it belong to the kids? Like, where do we put it? And so, just kind of throwing that question out there, a little bit of reflect this back to David to see what he wants to do. He said, no, I want it with the kids. And so then what we were able to do is jump in and sort of show him, okay, we're getting that feed from Schwab, that information's coming in, but we need to redirect it. We don't want it with the parent. We want it with the trust. Like, we want it with the kids because they're going to be the ones asking questions about what's going on with this account. And so that sort of structure, one of the cool things about Quivr is it can accommodate that, right? Like we have the ability to sort of move things around and redirect that account from being associated with the parents to being associated with the trust account and the kids.
This could also be a compliance thing too, because irrevocable trusts, and obviously we're not giving legal advice, no compliance advice or anything like that. But if there's an irrevocable trust, that's its own entity. It should, at least from my career background, it should have its own, investment management agreement, financial planning agreement, IPS, all that stuff. So even if maybe you're at a larger firm too, where you have a CCO on hand and it's not just, solo advisor knows everything in their head, you probably have to do that because you need to do your qualified annual review and your, tolerance with IPS, drift reporting, that kind of stuff.
You want all that data. Like you mentioned it just a minute ago, like it's an irrevocable trust. So it's got its own social.
Yeah.
So what do? Do we take that social and put it on one of the son or the daughter? Well, no, because they might those are real people. They have their own information. So what we ended up doing in this case, which I thought was kind of clever, is we made a contact called irrevocable trust, and it lives in this household and it captures that social. So it's not just in a, text field where you can't really get to it. It's still in a social security field. And so if you run a report that says show me all my clients and all their socials, it's going to get picked up. You're going to see it. It's not hidden away somewhere in a text field. It's in that social field where you would expect it, even though it's not, as you and I know, not really a social, in the same way that I have a social and you have a social. It's the trust, tax ID number.
Yeah. And then there's also things too. And if we look at a huge advantage of Quivr is you can really kind of create various subsets of clients, right? Using tags, various fields. If you want to get a subset of clients or types of contacts, it's very easy to get that. honestly part of the migration process is helping you get there. But if we look at David in this case as well, it's going to be super simple, I'm assuming, to then, I want to send it to my quote unquote real clients, or I want to send something to just my trust clients, or I need to be aware of the trust tax filing deadline and this and that and this and the things I have to do. So by doing what you did, not only is it going to be clean from an organizational standpoint, but he's going to be set up to run automations, processes, play with Archer, right? Our operations tool. Yeah, he's going to be in a good spot. And then, obviously I'm excited here, but it's going to happen. He's going to get another irrevocable trust, and he's not going to have to recreate the wheel. He can just more or less copy this first one. And now those two are going to get treated the same. And then the three are going to get treated the same. Yeah. So he's creating that foundation to really set him up for success going forward.
We've definitely gotten questions about how do I deal with trusts. And I think one of the complicated things is Salesforce is so flexible. There's a couple of different ways to do it. This actually seemed like a pretty good solution. David really engineered a lot of it. We got some insight from other users, which was fantastic. But I think he's going to end up in a place where, from a reporting standpoint, from an automation standpoint, from a data integrity standpoint, this is going to work pretty well, I think.
And like I mentioned earlier, David is without a doubt one of our favorite users. He comes to office hours almost every week. So we're going to know if this was successful or not. Like next week, we're going to learn, yep, it's working. It's great. You guys are the best. We're going. Or he's going to make some smart comment to me and then we'll fix it. And we'll keep trying and we'll get him where he needs to go. But no, that's really cool. Like I said, I caught the end of that one because I was in that breakout room. But no, more good stuff today as always, Will. Remember, if you're a Quivr user, Wednesdays, get to office hours. We can help you with stuff just like this. If there is something that you think should be simpler, or something that's causing you anxiety, or just a pain in your side, get to office hours. Let's see if we can help you. If you're not a Quivr user, that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect, but it's not too late. Come on, schedule a demo, see Quivr in action for yourself, and truthfully, see what you're missing.